Yeah, thanks. Thanks for coming out. You know, we're 9 days away from Oregon State in Surprise, Arizona. And one credit to these guys is over Christmas break, we don't see our guys for 6 weeks. And so they have to do their work at home on their own. And then we get back into school. We had 2 weeks of individual workouts, small groups, bullpens, batting practice, a lot of drill work, slowly starting to get them into shape. And then we go 3 weeks of team. In that team, we've had 7 inter squads already, and we have 4 more coming up. We're trying to work out the kinks. We're trying to figure out our depth at each position. We're trying to figure out our starting rotation and our bullpen. And the best way to do that is to play. We're fortunate to have good weather to be outside and be able to play, get a lot of at-bats. And our whole goal is to get these guys 50 at-bats in a live inter-squad situation and get to our pitchers 10 to 12, 14 innings, somewhere in that range, to build up their arm strength and be ready to go. So a lot of decisions here in the next 9 days to be made, but still some practices to help sort that out. We're excited about the season. We have a good mixture of returning players and new players. What I would say is our roster's improved but unproven. And that's what the season's all about, is to get out there and play and make some adjustments when we need to and give these guys an opportunity to turn them loose against some outside competition and be ready for Mountain West play.
All right, if you want to, Coach, pass the mic down to Lenny there. So we have a representative sort of from each level of the team. Lenny in the outfield, he was a second-team All-Mountain West left fielder last season. This is his second year with the Lobos. Go ahead, Lenny.
Lenny Ashby here. So I'm excited for the season. I mean, based off what Coach said, we have an improved lineup. I feel like from 1 to 9, we're gonna hit really good, and I'm just excited for the season, man.
Next, we've got Riley Egloff. He is a senior pitcher on the staff, third year with the Lobos, led the team in innings pitched a season ago.
Hi, I'm Riley Egloff. Just kind of going off what Lenny said on the pitching standpoint, I feel like we've improved a lot. I feel like we have a lot of guys that are really hungry to get out there and get the job done and build a name for us that we need to for the UNM Lobos.
And then lastly, Chase Weissenborn, third year shortstop for the Lobos from Albuquerque, voted team captain this year by his peers, by his teammates.
Hello, Chase Weissenborn here. I'm really looking forward to the season. I think we got a great group of guys, great coaching staff, and I mean, we're going to be challenged all season. We got some tough opponents, and I think that's what it's all about. I mean, you want to go out there and challenge yourself and compete, and I think we got a great group of guys to go out there and go do that. So, I mean, we've been working really hard, great team chemistry right now, and yeah, I think we're just itching to get on the field for day one.
All right, we'll open up to questions, and then guys, if whoever's asked a question, if you just want to make sure the mic's in front of you, be awesome.
Coach, start with you. I know you kind of spoke on it earlier, but I guess now in year 2, are you feeling a little bit more comfortable, and do you think that this team, that you guys have made the right steps in the off season to really take a different step, take that next step this year?
Yeah, I think so. Again, I've never been one to try to tell everybody how good we're going to be. We need to go out and do it. I like where our recruiting's at. I like the addition of Nate Causey coming in as an assistant coach, hitting coach. We lost an assistant to a Power 5 school. So I think Nate has brought some new things to the table. Michael Lopez, our pitching coach, has done a good job of trying to put guys into roles that they can handle. So I think we just have to put it all together. I know more about the conference now, and it is a very competitive 1 through 7 conference. Anybody can beat anybody. I know the standings are probably going to, preseason picks are going to come out. I would expect us to be somewhere in the bottom third there, but we'll see what happens just because we haven't done it yet. And that's kind of what we're looking to have, some hunger to go out and get our feet wet and prove ourselves.
What would you say in your second year is the biggest change? I mean, as far as from last year to this year.
It's got to be our pitching staff. Baseball starts with pitching. If you give yourself if you look at last year, every chance that we pitched well, we had a shot to win late in the game. But it really comes down to our pitching staff. We have to establish our starters and our main bullpen to be able to close out games. And then throughout the game, offensively, we need to put pressure on other teams and score runs, because this league, you can give up 6-7 runs early in the game and still win. So, but it really starts on our pitching staff, is putting the right pieces in place, is giving us a chance to win late in the games. And most college games are decided in the 6th and 7th inning. And the reason is the starting pitcher's starting to get tired, or they're starting to get to him, or coaches leave them in too long, or they don't want to go to the bullpen that soon. So the 6th and 7th inning is something that we're going to try to get through a lot better than we did last year. And offensively, I feel like our lineup is, I feel like we have 11, 12 guys that can play every day. And that's going to put a lot of pressure on our guys to perform at a high level, knowing that they have guys that their teammates can put pressure on them and be in the lineup as well. And defensively, it really comes down to, if we pitch clean, we got to play good defense as well. And I think that's much improved from last year as well.
I know you still got to set the rotation, but can you just kind of speak to some of the arms that you have, maybe some new ones? Obviously, Riley coming back. I mean, can you kind of speak? Do you think you have what it takes?
Yeah, certainly Riley had a lot of starts for us last year. You have Brett Russell's a returner. New guys, Isaac Gallegos is pitching, and we're evaluating him. Tristan Lively is a returner as well. Sharon Jackson, Benjamin Baker, Livingston. All these guys are guys that we're considering for rotation type spots, and decisions will be made here probably the middle of next week.
Chase, what does it mean to be a captain?
I mean, it means a lot. I mean, I just think team chemistry is a huge part of winning ball games. And when you can walk into the clubhouse and the locker room and have your guys depend on you and have your back and know that they trust you, I think that just means the world to me. I mean, I grew up here in New Mexico, and wearing New Mexico across my chest always has meant the world to me. I mean, my mom went to this school, and I mean, like I said, it just means a lot to me to have my teammates trust me and kind of put that responsibility on my shoulders.
Can you just kind of speak to as well, just do you think the players, this team's becoming more comfortable now too in year two under Coach Brown? I mean, do you think you guys are, like you talked about the chemistry, you feel more confident on that end coming in?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, the team chemistry right now is unbelievable. I mean, it's the best it's been in the past 3 years I've been here. So, I mean, I think that says a lot when it comes to winning ball games, because you got to play for one another and play for the guy next to you. So, we all get along, we all love each other, and I think that's what it's all about.
Riley, how's the competition been on the pitching staff, through fall and now into the early spring and getting ready for the season? You guys making each other better, and what do you think about this year's staff?
Oh yeah, I'm like really excited for this year's staff. I feel like every day we go out there and it's kind of competition based. Like, we're all trying to make each other better, and at the same time, like he said, like the chemistry on our team and our staff is just like so much better than it was last year. I feel like there's guys that push each other to get better, but then there's also like guys that'll really hold you accountable for what you're not and like what you are doing before practice, if that has to do early work and stuff like that. It's like, I feel like most of our staff this year really cares about getting the stuff done off the field that it like matters on the field. Like, yeah, we could go out there and have these like crazy shutout like starts or whatever, but it's like how we prepare for them. And I feel like having like this group of guys and this staff, like everyone really understands that. And even coming in with like some of our freshmen, like Jordan Martinez and Matt, like Danae and stuff like that, like even there, like these freshmen are coming in and like kind of looking up to the older guys to see how like we prepare and stuff like that. And I feel like through previous years, we really didn't have that in a sense. We kind of just like, there were some guys who cared and some guys who didn't, but as a whole staff this year, I feel like we really do take that into consideration and like how that is going to portray how we pitch on the field.
What can we expect out of you? How is this offseason for you? Where do you think you've really improved? And, Yeah, I mean, senior year, you're just going to give it all out now.
Yeah, my whole goal is just for us to go out and win. I wanna be in that conference tournament, and like I've been here for 3 years, and I feel like we have the team to do it this year. I gained a third pitch in the off season. I feel like would be my biggest step up to the plate. Is like I was more of a fastball changeup last year, and it could get me through some games, but then some games they would just sit on that. So I feel like gaining that third pitch really helped me out, especially through fall and off season. I'm really liking where like that pitch has like gotten me, especially in the fall. But I don't know. I just all about this year is just winning. I want this team to go to a tournament and like actually be able to compete and represent the UNM Lobos. I feel like this is the team to do it too. Like Cheese has said, this is the first team that the chemistry's actually been so like really good on the team, where everyone's loving each other, everyone's having a good time, we're all having fun. There's not really any like those cancers on the team where you have people that kind of bring the whole team down. It's more like we're all bringing each other up. So
we can still expect to eat from you though, right? Still, yeah, power pitcher.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'm feeling really good, just really good coming out and pitching like in the fall and the start of the spring. So arm's feeling really good. So we'll see where it goes.
Awesome. Coach, these three guys are here for a reason. You picked them for this day because they're veterans and they're leaders. What about their leadership and why they're sitting here at the podium today?
Yeah, I mean, I tell you as a coach, if you don't have leadership from your players, you're going to have a long year, and it's going to be a tough year. We need people to control the locker room, and these three guys are three of the best that we have, but we have some other guys that aren't here as well that do a good job of doing it. Because when it comes down to this is their team, and they make it go. And every time that you go through a season, there's ups and downs, and you need leadership to get you through those tough times. And having these three guys along with some other guys in our locker room, that's going to make the difference in our season. Is when times get tough, the tough people need to keep the team together and keep pushing in the right direction.
Lenny, heard you talking earlier, said you've lost a few pounds, man. Kind of talk about your off season, how you're feeling coming in.
Well, I mean, last year I felt like I did a pretty good job offensively, but I feel like I should have got to a couple balls in the outfield. And, it was taking a toll on me. And, my dad is a guy that always pushes me. So when I got home, I mean, I was really working. I was really working to get my body right, get my mind right, and to do a better job defensively. So I'm trying to do both this year for the team.
I like it, man. You're a guy that really showcased your power. I mean, what can fans expect out of you this year, man? I mean, is this something you're just trying to take that next step?
I mean, I'm definitely trying to be a slugger again for this team. I mean, I'll do anything to win ball games. And if I got a bunt, got to hit the ball out of the park, I mean, I'll do both. I mean, I don't care. I want to win. I mean, I just love winning. I think everybody sitting here agrees with that. So I just want to do it for the team.
Yeah, that seems like the general theme, winning. Obviously, every year you want to go in, every game you want to win. But, I mean, do you think it's realistic that this team can take another step? Do you think you guys are playing with kind of maybe a chip on your shoulder to do better this year,
I mean, when Coach gives us an off day, I mean, it's basically the whole team is there on the off day. And I just love that. I mean, I step outside and I see the pitchers, all of them are down the bullpen just doing their drills and all that. I mean, that's a team that's hungry. So I just look at that, and I think the guys are ready this year.
Coach, you mentioned something earlier about the possibility of, being in a game where 5 runs are scored early and, it's still a game. Like, that doesn't mean that the game is lost. And I guess I wanted to ask you, your second year now in the Mountain West, and, we've talked a bunch here, pitching, defense, move guys over, small ball. That's the way you've managed your whole life, but the Mountain West is different. Mm-hmm. And managing a game in the Mountain West and managing a pitching staff in the Mountain West with Coach Lopez, and do you feel like you learned a lot last year, and will that help you this season, and how?
Yeah, I think so. You always think that you're prepared for the league, knowing as much as I knew about it coming in, but until you go through it, you just never know. And what we want defensively and from our pitching staff is try to eliminate the big crooked number up on the scoreboard. And that's really hard to do in this league. And there's techniques to do it, whether getting some of your infielders or catchers doing mound visits to try to stop the momentum, using more of our pitching or coach and pitcher meetings to try to slow down the momentum. Improved defense will help that, and I think we've addressed that. But really it comes down to trying to eliminate the big inning and trying to minimize it as much as possible, but also having an offense that can repeat and do that as well. As I told our guys, offensively, we want to be the team when it's tough sledding and it's windy and it's cold and we've got a guy really running it up there and runs are going to be scarce. We have to control the bat. We have to get bunts down. We have to push, drag, steal bases, hit and run, go first to third on guys. But also when the wind's blowing out and it's good hitting day, we need to have the ability to hit the ball over the outfielders' heads, over the fence, put up a lot of doubles. And so we're trying to build an offense that can do both. Handle the bat when we need to, but also can provide some extra base hits. Because just, clapping down at third base coaching box, waiting for the 3-run homer, that's hard to do in college baseball. We have to manufacture runs depending on the circumstances we have in that game. And I think we have 11, 12 players, like I said, position players that have the ability to be in that lineup on a day in and day out basis that can do that.
Chase, another year, another start in Surprise, man. I mean, talk about that. How much does that does this start playing out there against these really good teams? How does it help you guys out at the start of the year?
Well, I mean, you always want to play the best competition, and you always want to compete. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, that's why we work so hard day in and day out throughout the fall on our own, doing winter break and weightlifting and all that. So, I mean, we're going to play some really good teams out there, and so we're going to get challenged. And, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how we match up and see how we do. And, I mean, I just think it's good competition and to get us ready for our regular season. So, I mean, it's exciting. I mean, it's why we play the game. It's play the best competition, play for each other, and get tested. That's what it's all about.
For sure. And just ask you, how are you feeling just personally coming in? Where have you really feel like you've improved?
I mean, I feel great. I mean, I've always worked hard, and past couple of years I really haven't hit as well as I wanted to, and I think with the coaching staff we have, I've really improved on that, and defensively as well, and I just want to play for the guy next to me and just win. I mean, I'm going to do anything possible and anything it takes to win. I mean, that's what it's all about, and you just, no matter what, you got to get that W at the end of the day. So, I mean, I'm going to be the best teammate possible and do anything I can for my guys next to me.
For sure, and kind of speaking to that, Coach talked about manufacturing runs, bunts, and hitting the other way. Do you think everyone's kind of bought into that mentality as well?
Oh, 100%, yeah. I mean, we all, like I said, team chemistry's up there, and I think the way to do that is by buying into the program, buying into what Coach Brown and the rest of the coaching staff is having us do. So I think buying into the program's really important to winning baseball games, and that's what we've all done, and that's what we're all working towards. We're all pushing the rock in the right direction.
Riley, you mentioned some of the younger guys on the staff, and I guess new players pitching in Albuquerque for the first time, and you've been through it, and there's a mentality about being able to, maybe you give up a 3-run jack early, but you know that you need to give your team innings and you have to grind through it, and it's a mental approach. Have you sort of helped guys prepare for that, and how tough was it for you initially to get comfortable in that space, to know that one bad pitch can hurt you, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be out of the game in a couple of pitches?
Yeah, I'd have to shout out Coach Brown and Coach Lopez for this, because I feel like they have done the best job of helping everyone understand that mentality of you're gonna go out there and you're gonna get hit. It's just it's baseball. Not everyone's gonna throw a perfect game, but it's how you respond to it in a sense. And I feel like Coach Lopez he hands out worksheets or piece of paper all the time in the locker room just to the pitchers, and it's always just kind of a mentality thing. And even before we go out to practice or go out to an inter squad, usually he's giving us a good like 30-minute talk and just saying like, go out there, lay it all out on the line, do what you can do to help your team. But you always got to understand, like you said, like if there's that bad game or you're just getting hit one time, you have that guy next to you that's gonna like get your back in the long run. Like you're not gonna be out there alone or doing anything like that. Like he always says, 9-on-1, because it's 9 position guys versus 1 batter. And I feel like that's one of the mentalities that a lot of people like have really picked up on, is like it's not you versus the world. Like you have 9 guys behind you that can help you more than anything. And like back to the mentality part, I feel like just us like thinking we're gonna go out there and do what we can and like to help the team is like what really has changed the perspective. But I do feel like the freshmen do pick up on that quick. I feel like they're good observers and they learn from like the older guys, and seeing like someone go out and have a bad inter squad or bad fall or whatever, and then just come back the next day and work their butt off to just get better, and then go out in the next one and just do as good as they can. So I feel like it's all about learning from the older guys, and then obviously our coaches helping us instill that mindset that like it's not just you versus the world. It's like you have 9 other guys to help you.
Todd, can you, obviously we've got these guys that we're all familiar with, but can you give us a couple of the new guys that we might be watching out for this year?
Yeah, position player, let's start in the outfield. You have Dalen Pigford, grad transfer from Cal State Fullerton, New Mexico kid. You go on the infield, Dylan Ditzenberger, transfer from University of Kansas, played 4 years in the Big 12, 4-year starter. Devin Dixon, a middle infielder, junior college transfer. Reed Spinrath at first base, transfer from TCU, 6'4", 6'5", left-handed hitter, has some power. Jake Holland behind the plate, junior college transfer. Those are some of the new guys. Pitching staff-wise, Jaron Jackson, left-hander, junior college guy, local kid, came back home. Isaac Gallegos, a New Mexico kid, junior college transfer. Off the top of my head, those are, some guys that have really come in and done a nice job. We expect them to get innings on the mound, get at-bats early in the season, and see if we can put it all together. That's really what all, you can hear these guys. Everybody just wants to win. Nobody cares who gets the credit. They just want to win. It's time for us to be in the tournament and see if we can make some noise playing our best baseball late in the season.
Time for a couple more if anybody's got any.
I guess, Coach, just your thoughts on going to Surprise, playing Oregon State, starting up. I mean, kind of preview on that one.
Yeah, we're going to find out if we're good enough to be in the top 25, because 2 out of those 3 teams, 3 out of our 4 games are going to be against teams that are in the top 25, with Santa Barbara and Oregon State playing them twice. And Minnesota's, I know a lot of those names on the roster still. They're going to have a solid club as well. We're going to get thrown in the fire real quick, and we're going to find out what we're good at, what we're bad at, and what we need to fix. But that's why we play, is we need to go in there, and by Monday night, we're going to learn a lot about our team, and we're going to get back to work and fix it. And it's all these games they count towards our record, but they're all getting us in preparation for Mountain West games. And that's the most important, is finding out who our 3 starters are, who our 3 best bullpen arms, what's our starting lineup versus a righty versus a lefty. And the best way to do that is to play against really good competition. So we're going to have our hands full, but I have confidence that these guys will go out and compete.
What about putting together your second schedule as the head coach of the Lobos with your staff, Northern Colorado and St. Bonaventure early? But what was your philosophy in putting this year's schedule together?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to get teams. Scheduling is really hard, no matter where you're at. Everybody wants to play at home if you can, and I think our guys deserve to play as many home games as possible. We have great weather to do so, but we want to play against good competition and venues to do that. We've stuck with the Surprise tournament. I think it's great for our fans. I think it's great for recruiting. We have a lot of Arizona kids. We have a lot of New Mexico kids that their parents can easily get over. So I think we want to continue doing that. And then when we have off weekends, we want to try to be at home as much as possible. And finding those opponents is really difficult because their schedules have to line up. And what's made it even more difficult has been the airline prices. So the northern teams are not traveling as far as they used to because of airline prices. So that made it even more difficult. But we found a way to get it done. And then our midweeks is, we're kind of landlocked to how far can we go on a Tuesday, and we have class to think about. We have time on the bus and draining our guys. So home and home with Texas Tech. 2 p.m. start, which is probably not going to be very popular, but that's so our kids aren't going to bed at 4 a.m. After a long bus ride home. And that was something the coach really emphasized over there that he wanted to do. 4 games with New Mexico State. I think playing those games is really important. Only 3 hours down the road, that sort of thing. Go to play at Arizona. Play at Grand Canyon this year. And we'll continue doing those because they're in our area and we can get to them pretty easily. But we want them to come here as well, and that's always difficult to do.
Couldn't get Arizona to come back this year.
I've known Arizona for a long time, obviously played there. After that handshake, I figured that was the last time we'll see Arizona here. It's a long day to play a Tuesday game. And so the other thing that makes it difficult is our off weekends. Having an uneven number of baseball teams in the Mountain West makes it really difficult. Because once we start play, somebody has to be off at all times. And finding an opponent in the middle of May is not easy. You got finals. You have even April is very difficult. So it's a challenge, but, we just do the best we can.